Transforming your life through hypnotherapy has never been easier. With the help of your host, Julie from coachinghypnosis.net, and these power-packed minisodes, you're sure to find yourself engaging in more positive behaviors around both your physical and mental health. Here's your host, Julie.
G'day, it's Julie from coachinghypnosis.net, and you deserve to know the one elite non-verbal hypnosis trick for 2022, because people have had enough of being a luminary of society and hard of hearing at the same time. And I'm not a therapist or psychotherapist, but this is my 9th year as a clinical hypnotherapist in strategic psychotherapy. I currently help my clients online. They change their life without changing out of their pajamas. And non-verbal hypnosis is a form of hypnosis that doesn't rely on verbal communication. This type of hypnosis can be used with both hearing and deaf people. Deaf hypnosis is a specialized form of non-verbal hypnosis that is specifically tailored to work with people who are deaf or hard of hearing. There are many different ways to induce hypnosis without using verbal communication. Common techniques include using eye contact, body language, and gestures. Sometimes music or other forms of sound can also be used to hypnotize someone. Nonverbal hypnosis is a powerful tool that can be used to help individuals overcome various challenges. With deaf hypnosis, deaf individuals can overcome the challenges posed by their deafness and live a full and successful life. And it reminds me of the famous sci-fi writer and LSD psychonaut Aldous Huxley, who is rumoured to have worked with MI5, worked with the famous hypnotist Milton Erickson. Huxley explained he would go into a deep trance whenever he sat in a certain chair, but then couldn't snap out of it. Erickson anchored him to sounds and feelings so he could snap out of it. Huxley also experimented with visual-only trances or feeling-only trances, not just auditory trances. And it reminds me of the visually impaired woman who learned how to see in tongues. At the University of Wisconsin, Dr. Rita was teaching people how to see successfully with their tongue. We do not see it with our eyes, we see it with our brain, he states. The senses are, therefore, just inputs that provide information to our brain. He believes that we can modify the connections in our brain so much that we can begin to swap which sensory experience in the brain. Dr. Rita connects a video camera to a subject's head. Input from the camera is shunted to a laptop, which reduces the images to 144 pixels and sends this information via electrodes to a grid that rests on the tongue. As visual images are transformed to the tongue in this way, blindfolded people can process the input and provide their brain with information about where the objects are located in their environment. With repeated effort and concentration, for example, most subjects can successfully catch a ball that's rolled on the table towards them 9 times out of 10. Not bad. One subject, a 16-year-old girl blind since birth, was a lead singer in her high school choir. She began using the device in order to learn the movements as a conductor and keep time with his cadence. She learnt the gestures within half an hour and eventually began to see his movements across the room. This might not qualify as true sight. Nevertheless, she began to perceive or process what she felt with her tongue as feeling visual pictures in her brain. And it reminds me of the bullfrog. A bullfrog makes such a huge sound. It would deafen itself if it heard itself because its ear is so close to the source of that loud noise. The nerve impulses for sound and the nerve impulses for the muscles that make the sound arrive at the brain 180 degrees out of phase and cancel each other, so the bullfrog never hears itself. And as Richard Bandler says, it seems like a lot of people I meet operate the same way. But here is the one elite non-verbal hypnosis trick for 2022. And one of the keys to the induction of hypnosis is to use the correct pre-hypnotic suggestions, like you would ask, would you like to experience hypnosis? The subject might say yeah. I would like you to simply allow things to take place. Don't try to make anything happen. Don't try and stop things from taking place. Is this agreeable to you? Sure, that will be fine. Take the subject's hand as if you were to be shaking it. Have the subject's arms stretched out straight. With the subject looking directly in your eyes, begin slowly raising and lowering the arm about 3 to 4 inches each way. Keep your eyes fixed on the client's eyes. As the subject begins to blink their eyes, interrupt your up and down movements of the arm and begin pushing the arm down slowly. Return to the up and down movement of the arm until the client blinks again. Once again, the subject blinks their eyes, push the arm down slightly. You'll discover that within a few movements, the eyes will close completely, drop their arm to their side. Ask the subject to hold both arms in front of them and upward so the hands are above eye level. They should be parallel, the hands being about 2 feet apart. The hypnotist now moves back and forth in front of the subject from one side to the other, making a small postural change in the subject's right arm first, then over to the other side, make a similar change in the left arm. First, the right arm bend at the elbow so the hand comes in a bit downwards. And then the hypnotist moves over to the left side, repeats the movement of the subject's arm. And then, after a few moments, pauses and observes the posture. This permits the subject to observe the reaction and allow time for adjustments to make in the posture. Once again, move to the subject's right side and adjust the arm again, bent and slightly down. Wait a few seconds and make the similar adjustment over on the left side, arm bent and slightly down. And what you're communicating or transmitting on a whole other level is inward and downward, inward into oneself, downwards towards a more unconscious level of awareness. And finally, when the hands are almost together and barely above the lap, the hypnotist grabs both of them firmly by the wrists and forcibly lowers them repeatedly all the way down. At this point, the subject's eyes will usually close and his head slump forwards. On his chest, the subject's eyes will usually close. And if the client hasn't closed their eyes, you can pull the eyelids down and push the back of the head in a final forceful suggestion, which implies go inward and down, close your eyes and enter a deep, relaxed, hypnotic state. No words have been spoken, but the induction has been accomplished by a series of progressively spaced changes in posture. And to remove the hypnotic state, which has been achieved by the hypnotist, you simply reverse the movements, lift up the head, lift both arms into position, one arm, then the other reverse. And these movements are now outward and upward. Come up and out of yourself and back into conscious state is a message. Finally, the arms are back in their original position and the patient's eyes are fully open. The head is up. So what if you thought about nonverbal hypnosis differently? And what if you didn't? The choice is yours.